Hi there. My name is Ben Keats, and I'm just going to make this video um, for SAFCOMMS Limited, and this is going to appear on our um, brochure, which you can get to via our website. So if you go onto spacetm.uk and click on order a brochure, you can get to this brochure, this online brochure that we've put forward to show you what it is exactly that we're offering at SAFCOMMS Limited and what you should expect to get from our services. Now, the first video, which you've probably just been past if you're on the brochure, talks about what we intend to offer as services from our system. Now, that's an exciting prospect, and on the veneer of things, as things look on the outset, you know, as they look as you use our services, that is how we expect things to be. However, there is a lot more to this program than just simply offering services, more media streaming services and more business services through DNS. In fact, what we intend to offer is a lot more than that, and primarily in the domain of spiritual improvement and upshift to the next dimension. We are predominantly operating with this as one of our main raison d'etre, if you like. Our main reasons to operate is the fact that we are offering survival strategies in a world which has been dogged by digital infrastructure for the past 20, 30 years, and in which there is not much freedom from what we call a soul trap, if you like, in the way where the world operates, in the way that we are offered services by people that potentially offer a varying range of problems for people who are having issues with their sanity due to the fast-paced digital world that is trapping our souls into a microchip continuum where there is no let up or freedom from the fact that we are offered consumer restraints in the digital products that we buy, and that technology is controlled by people who have a very detailed degree of understanding about how it operates, while at the same time offering their clients very little knowledge that they have actually set the system up with. So we are in a situation where technologically redundant grannies are using Apple and other products without any understanding of how this technology works. And in our belief, this is a risky scenario when you're getting involved in things that you don't really understand. And we like to shed light on what we're offering as services and how we create these services and what these services can do for you. So what we are trying to do, what SAFCOMMS is about, is we're trying to free up the digital infrastructure and break through the crystal ceiling to a certain extent to allow for the energy upshift, the movement towards our clients getting into a higher dimension where they can start to have a more integral understanding and have more of an impact in the way things are done and the way things are shaped for the future when people use our products and our services. So that's the primary ethos. Another very important factor in the understanding of what SAFCOMMS Limited is about, if you go back, say 8-10 years ago, when I first started SAFCOMMS Limited and made a website, you know, a very temporary website, which talked about the whole process I'd been through to start to privatize my own, if you like, my own liquid property, my own reality that I'd created through one way or another, and had started to build the spiritual archive of faith to store this infrastructure to store this technology and to turn it into something that is benign and potentially healing for the people who use it, and also myself and people involved in helping me set it up. So the plan was to actually, store this creative knowledge through the arc web and make it a very secure interface. So I talk about security on the first video. Security is very important, but I especially believe this is important when we are looking after our own fingerprint on the web, if you like, our own information that is out there, to enable people to actually be able to use the services that this technology provides, while at the same time giving kudos and credit to the pioneer and originator of these thoughts. So a lot of SAFCOMMS is about protecting liquid property of individuals and setting up a safe haven where people can operate and move to the higher dimensions without being, ambushed by tech companies who wish to snuff out and stop the future reality where we start to connect the universe to the earth and bring about the realization of uh, you know, um, a duality of the universe here in Gloucestershire, where we live, and in the surrounding counties, and ultimately a Commonwealth where we can slowly move towards turning the whole planet into the universal planet with the blueprints of the universe all over it. So we can start to implement the universal realms on Earth. That's cut and dried. That is the whole plan. That is what we intend to do. However difficult it may appear to be at the moment, however near we are to that, I intend, with the group of people who are connected to and who help me with what I do, or do things that are beneficial to my causes, or wish to be part of what I'm doing and believe in what I'm doing, with this group of people. This reality I intend to implement, within the next few years. So that is the overall plan. And in a practical way, how does that actually manifest itself? Well, what SpaceGM is actually doing is offering, like I said, it's offering a duality of the universe here on Earth. And what we're finding as we start to implement more strategies with the IPv XYZ system, which interlinks a group of ranges that can pinpoint any place within the universe, because these ranges are as big or as little as you need them to be. They can be as far-reaching or as close to in the minutiae as you need. You may need to access one component in your computer. You may need to access a space station off Mars in the future, or something like that. Whatever it may be, there's a vast range of potential in communications, in the communication system that I'm setting up alongside this whole system, which is all part of the DNS services and incorporated in the IPv XYZ setup, which is also as SAFCOMMS Limited New Modules. So with this service, we intend to we are starting to map out the universe and draw in exotic technologies from the universe to this location of the world. So working hand in hand with engineers and people involved in quantum physics and particle physics and anything else that may be of interest to the technology that we're purveying. Remembering that the arc web is working in light particles, that is a continued stream of axis that links up, the minutiae to the vast horizons all over the universe. That this technology is able to purvey this exotic reality of SpaceGM and manifest it either physically in engineering, or in computer science, or in technology, or in architecture, or wherever it may be in the actual physical landscape that we live in. It's not beyond my intentions to start to implement terraforming in this location. That will greatly change and enhance and increase the size and scale of the reality that we live in here in Gloucestershire at the moment. So there's a vast range of things that we intend to do and bring about through this exotic reality that we're starting to purvey to the locality. But not only are we purveying this exotic reality to the locality, we intend to farm it out the entire planet, because remember I said it's our intention to set up a Commonwealth system around the Earth as well that centers on this location to begin with, and then starts to map out its own Commonwealth in its area, and ultimately spread the universe all over the Earth. And through a temporary arc connection network, if you look on the corporate page on my website on spacetm.uk, tells you a bit about tax and facts. So the temporary arc connections hopefully will go to people who are interested in my products, our products at SpaceTM, and what we're doing with it here in Gloucestershire, and start to interconnect other parts of the world through these temporary arc connections that will map out parts of other safe havens that are connected to our zone here in Gloucestershire, and intend to do business with us, either initially or for the foreseeable future. And in this process, we'll start to share out this reality of what we can achieve with space. Now, it's my view that although climate change is a big issue on everyone's minds at the moment, and everyone's talking about it, and everyone's worried about it, it's my issue that with the exotic realities of space, we can actually change the reality of the Earth in a much easier way than by applying taxation to people who continue to move towards progress, burning more fossil fuels and moving to the space direction in their own capacity, like NASA or the Chinese space program or India or wherever else, the European space program, all that sort of thing. Plus all the industrial processes on the Earth that are checked and scripted to not damage the environment unduly without undue care or attention. As long as these oversights are in place and people are checked to make sure that these industrial processes don't become dangerous, it's my view that these things should be left in place and unhindered, really. I'm not so in agreement with the net zero agenda. I believe it is slightly authoritarian again, and has sinister underbelly of where it comes from in terms of how it's trying to manipulate and control people in the way they work. It's also dangerous in terms of progression, because it could force us down to a level where we know we can no longer operate on a fast-paced, fast-moving, progressive reality. We start to get snowed under by dogma, red tape, taxation, and everything else to keep industry under check. Now, this is a dangerous reality. I think the reality should be let things move on as they are. Let's not let them get any worse in terms of pollution and environmental damage and everything else. But I think the view of SAFCOMMS Limited is to let things move on as they were, without unhindered, hoping that we reach the exotic realities of space, and this potential from Space TM potentially, and from endeavoring scientists who want to reach out and reach the stars and tap into some of the actual physical reality of the exotic realities of space. With this physical reality, there will be implications on global warming, on burning fossil fuels, everything else. Will be able to manipulate the exotic space realities and turn them into something that is carbon neutral for starters. Once we actually get this reality underway, we won't need to burn fossil fuels when we have these technologies, and they won't give off any pollution as well. But I think it should be more in our agenda to move. Although I agree we have to have some curbs on climate change, we have to try and protect the Earth as much as we can. We have to do the right thing. I think rather than banging the drum to the Chinese, the Indians, the Brazilians, the Russians, all the people who are burning all the fossil fuels and making all the pollution, they'll never change, because they are, it's tantamount in their minds. They have to move forward and progress. And I don't think we'll ever be able to stop them doing that. I think we just have to try and purvey some of these exotic technologies to them and start to implement strategy where we can start to create energy that is pollution free, without any byproducts being given off, and also a much more efficient and creative reality to the rest of the Earth. So that's another big agenda of ours at Space TM. We hope to, through the temporary arc connections, we hope to share this reality and to move towards making it a much greener planet, in a much quicker as well, hopefully, than the current climate change agreements that have been put in place, for the next 10, 20 years. We hope to bring this in the next few years to the Earth and to start to change the way that we continue to move industry forward, but in a greener way where we supply a carbon neutral solution that doesn't necessarily involve building wind farms or creating solar farms or polluting or destroying parts of the earth in order to sustain our insatiable appetite for energy. So that's a major issue with us that we're trying to cover at Space TM. But the crux of the whole thing, and the thing that is most important and most pertinent to people connected to me and people in this locality and everywhere else in the world, is solutions through these exotic technologies that we're coming up with from this universal duality to cause more healing through people who use our services or people who live in the location of people who use these services, through this temporary arc connection network. We should be in a position to start to help people overcome cancer, to help people to overcome diseases that aren't always able to be healed by traditional medicine and science. And using our algorithms and technology when we find people who have rare diseases that science often has no solution for, we use algorithms to make this connect to the whole temporary arc web connection network that basically covers, most people in the locality of where that individual may be. And we hope to, when we find a problem for one person individually with a rare disease, then we intend to reach out and solve that issue for as many people as possible who have the same problem. This is something I've been doing all throughout the program, putting healing into the system. When I started out using runic technology and all that sort of thing back in the monolith days and everything that I was doing then, it has come full cycle, and we were able to turn this into our Christian artificial intelligence project that is developing under the guise of SAFCOMMS Limited. And hopefully, it's our plan to turn the reality of many people who are using our services, especially, and provide an undercurrent of healing that runs through the system, so that through interface technology alone, through watching our services or using our DNS or interfacing with people connected to the system, whatever it may be, but business, home and entertainment, whatever package you're using, we intend to deploy large amounts of creation through connected to turning around and healing diseases and illnesses through the network in the undercurrents of what we're offering. So that is something, we don't have any tried and trusted proof certificates or anything else to tell us that we're a healing network, but it's just in the general ambience and undercurrents of the whole network that we're creating. This healing reality should be put through and enhance the well-being and good nature and feeling of everyone connected to the system. So with those various aspects of the company, I'm talking about the more spiritual side of everything, what we intend to achieve, with the help of the universe, if you like. So if we're able to tap into the universe and bring about healing through it to the rest of the planet, then this is a basic plan that also implements the upshift in our dimensions and the improvement of existing industrial and technical processes, and also the impossibility of actually creating our own zone, our own universal zone or zones around the planet, where we are able to implement strategies to connect the universe to these locations and to bring about change and terraforming and potentially architecture and everything else from the universe to create these universal zones in areas of the planet where there is our safe havens and an appetite for this sort of thing to happen. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.